Hey guys, here talking about elemental magics. I was just going through my book of shadows, my public book of shadows, and I'm trying to figure out what should be my next video. As I logged into YouTube today and uploading soon-to-be videos, it come across and said, I think this is very impressive. I'm very impressed by it. It says, upload videos longer than 10 minutes. Congratulations. You have been selected to test a new feature that enables you to longer than 10 minutes. Get started now. And it's a link that clicks over and it talks about how they see that I get a lot of hits, blah, blah, blah. Boring. To me, I'm happy. So I thought I should talk about elemental magic. I got about 3 or 4 pages to read off about elemental magic. Hope this helps beginners. It completely helped me in the beginning. I personally don't know where I got this information at, but I wrote it in my book. Got little infos on each, a lot of element books that deals with it, and I combined it, but I really don't know where I got all these information details. So if you could hear it, if you see it that, oh, this book has this, please give me a comment below. Anyways, elemental magic. I'm gonna read it off and go from there. Ta-da. Elemental magic. What do you think of at the mention of the word elements? Do you picture wild elements raging, hurricanes, tornadoes, and thunderstorms? Or perhaps you remember that periodical table of elements in high school that was boring, but fun, but boring. Oh my god. Elements has a basic blocks of matter. For example, the atoms of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen makes up all humans, animals, and plants in our world. The element that I'm talking about is air, earth, fire, and water. Are the spiritual essence of specific forces all around us. As you could tell, air to breathe, fire to keep us warm, as well as the sun being fire to keep us warm, earth to walk on, water to not only nourishes us, replenishes us, but also it's good moisture in the air, so we can kind of somewhat breathe it. If it's dry air, it's really hard to breathe dry air because it's just very chalky. I know, I have problems like that. The ancient Greeks considered them the building blocks of the world. They noticed various properties of nature. Objects such as differing degrees of heat, dryness, moisture, solitude, and fluidity. Each magical element has a different property and function. The first step is to become one with the element you want to work with. Allow it to fill you completely and become a part of you. Remember, you are working with an energy greater than yourself. You must be at one with the element before it can affect you. Feel that you have made the only element you have chosen. Say to yourself, I am one with the infinity, name of the element. So, until you are filled as though you are that element, feel it. The infinite energy of the element coursing through you. And know it has the power to affect you. See yourself as taking the characteristics that is larger power possessiveness. What does that mean? Entail? That should self-explain there, but in general, adapt to the energy. If you're working with fire, work with heats. Trust your heaters. Don't mind the cats; they're very hyperactive. Test your heaters. Turn your oven on. Don't put your head in there, please. Turn the oven on and feel the temperature from the temperature of the heat, the intensity. Work with the element of fire, literally. Be very cautious. Fire is a very untenable energy. It can spread like wildfire, hence the name. Have like a huge tin bin to cause a fire. Make sure you have a bucket of water for safety next to you to quench it out. But feel the fire. Look at the fire. Look how it dances. Go camp when you go camping. Watch the fire there. Look how it dances. Look how it lives. Look how it consumes the wood and the air together to combine to make its power strive for the best. Think of it. A useful exercise is practicing becoming in tune with the different elements. For water, float in a pool or play in a bath. I can't float in a pool. I literally like drown instantly. For earth, go lay down in the field or forest or even your own backyard. Now, I do this tremendously a lot. A lot of people like to crisscross applesauce to basically ground themselves. And in my head, or my comfortability, is that sure, I could sit on my ass with my legs, but then that'd be the only place that actually leaks out of me. You know, I want to get everything. So what I do, if I have enough space in my room, if I have enough space in my backyard, enough space, I lay down and put my hands, whatever, how I feel comfortable, I lay down and just let it literally look like liquids, just, you know, leaking out of me, just dripping out of me into the earth. Not only that, I think of how it's magically going back to the earth. I am giving back the energy that I kind of borrowed for it. Give it back. Very hyperactive cats. For air, go and visit a windy hill or sit in front of a fan. Now, sit in front of a fan, sure, it's okay, but you get chilly. The best way to do it is actually, since here in Portland, Oregon, here it's very windy at some points. It's very windy at certain areas here in my area. So what I do is, if I want to connect with air, and it's a very poorly way, but it's still effective, is that I walk around, just walk around, and preferably more closer to traffic cars, a very fast-paced traffic area, because the cars pushes the air. Literally, it pushes it, and you can feel the wind on top of the wind that's coming from the wind gusts coming from the vehicle. It's more stronger wind, and you can feel it all around you. And believe me, my hair goes crazy, scarf goes everywhere, kind of syndrome. The only down part about it is that there's pollution and sick, and then it's hot, it's noisy and stuff. But that's where air gets connected in my head. That's where air gets connected with noise. It always makes a noise in your ear, literally. It being traffic going by, loud noise, because it's all noise. So that's how I connect with the air is more. Not only that, I connect with other things, other ways, other avenues to go with air. For fire, sit in a desert or a dry sauna. I can't do both because dry, humid areas is very bad for my nose. It's bad for my whole entire sinus. It sucks sometimes. Sometimes I kind of do want to just go to a sauna and sweat out the evilness out of me. But, you know, can't. Gotta consume it. Gotta keep it sealed. If this is unavailable, you could turn up the heat in your home. That's why I said turn on the heat. I usually use my oven. I usually turn the heat on my oven, and my mom looks at me like I'm completely weird. Not only that, I do my fire spell, my green flame spell, which you could see previous in my videos. It's very dangerous. But I'm very cautious. I know how to quench it out, but I'm very cautious, and I'm very, very, very freak out about fire because it's a very untameable energy. I know that. I respect that it is a very hard energy to control, and it's just overwhelming to me personally. So that's how I connect with fires. I see it, I feel it. So breathe in the element, feel in the energy fills you, cleanse you. Then breathe out, letting the element take out the impurities with it. It's a very good, not for earth really, it's very good for when you're taking showers with water and the steam from, literally the steam from the shower, and you're in the shower basically. That's a very good way to have moisture in and moisture out. For air, I would advise literally anything that's windy or whatnot. For earth, I usually go to an area that has a lot of scent. I can't go near pine so much because I'm allergic to it. It can make me feel rashy. So I go to an area where it's like freshly cut grass, something that smells earthy. Spend at least a week on each element, then practice becoming the element. With steady practice, you will get results. Believe me, you will. Now you can guide how this greater energy will specifically affect you. This is very good exercise here, what I'm about to read. It helps you incorporate into your circles. It helps you whenever you're in need, like when you're going trick-or-treating. A good warmth spell is really good. Not just a spell, a warmth Magick is good to help. Crazy cats, they're off the hook. A good way to do this is think about the area you are trying to heal. If you're interested in healing yourself, or for example, and give yourself a thought, such as my stomach is peaceful and tranquility, or the pain is gone, or you could just even use one word to quell it: peace, tranquility, soothing, etc. Healing, be gone. Fuck off is a really good one. Believe me, when you're sick and you're so annoyed and you know you have energy, the word fuck off is a very affirm, strong, boisterous word to tell it to go away. You are in effect taking the broad characteristic of an element and trying to narrow it down to a specific problem. Keep up your concentration until you have filled the affected, which is not always easy to do, especially if you are experiencing great pain. Filling one with the element, focusing on a particular problem while saying your chant, all at the same time. It can be difficult, but rewards are worth the trouble. It takes several minutes to achieve results depending on the problem. If after many minutes of concentration and you have not received the full benefit, try letting go the images and let the element flow through its own course. This is especially true in the cases of diarrhea, which usually takes several hours. You may have to use several treatments until you have achieved the desired effect. After you know what each element you could do, you could tailor your treatment to a specific purpose. So what this is entailing is that, oh, this is not going to be the cure of cancer, cure of AIDS, cure of STDs, cure of a lot of things. But this can actually help common illness, like diarrhea, that usually lasts for a day or so. If it lasts more than that, please do not use this as a remedy, as anything. Head to the doctor and check your shit up. Because if the diarrhea lasts more than 3 or 4 days, then dehydration comes. Very groggy, very tired, and agitated person. And those all spell out that healing is not going to be listening to. So check in. But for just like a common one day, like for me, for instance, I drink a glass of milk. That's it. That's 7 hours of me on the toilet. Shit. It's evil. Starting with Earth, we will focus on the different elemental qualities. What comes to mind when you think of Earth? Traditionally, Earth has stood for stability, for wealth, and for fertility. This element is cool and dry. And when you have filled yourself up with these attributes, when you fill up, I said it wrong. When you fill you up with fill these attributes, Earth is a materially. Sorry, I have a speech impediment here. Matters come from the word matter, meaning mother. You can see where you can come up with the term Mother Earth. The Earth is our mother, and therefore is very nurturing element. It also governs materialization and form. It is considered a passive element. It is the shaper of energy into a concentrated forms. I use it to counteract diarrhea. It usually works overnight, and you don't have to pay for the over-the-counter supplies. This is very good if you do have that problem. It's very good to do it if you need medicine or medicinal help with it. It doesn't hurt by using a little magic to kind of push you over the fence. But don't use it for greed. Don't use it for, okay, I'm going to go drink this glass of milk, I'm going to have diarrhea and test it to see if it really works. Don't use it for tests. Don't use it, don't poke at it, actually, because it actually won't work. Another way to use Earth is to ground yourself. If you're feeling spaced out or just silly and wish to come down to Earth, fill yourself with Earth and use this chant: I am grounded. I will make a difference in how I feel. When you become Earth, when you're using Earth, try to become a rock or solid or plant life. Very good way to use this is something that you relate to when you see earth. Trees, bushes, plants, your favorite flower, your actual flower that you are growing right now will be a very good way, like Henry, love him. Anything can be used for earth, pretty much. That's you could use, and it's endless list. Feel the stability and its quiet strength fills you. Think about the fortitude of mountains and the life that found in fields of crops. You can use earth anytime you need stability. Think of others uses for this element. So think of other things that you can use for this element. Not just only that, not only just earth, plants, and rocks and everything. You can actually go city-like, where you could actually think of concrete, because it is made form of earth. You could actually use a lot of things like, oh my god, endless. It's endless. The next element is water, which is passive. Water is cool and wet, and that rules emotions. Its chief characteristics is that it is concentrated. Look at how your hair looks when it's wet compared to dry. Notice how water flows and undilates. It is good to use water if you're feeling irritable or angry. Feel the soothing, comforting power of water as it fills you. Become one with the element and concentrate on soothing the burning in your stomach. After a short while, the pain will lessen and go away. When pain goes, you are left with a pleasant, refreshing feeling. You can also use the element to eliminate of other minor pains such as muscle soreness. Experience more for yourself. So this is really good when you're working out in a gym and another way to relax, to untense the thing. Really good. It's also good to think of aquatic light colors and how slow and enchanting the waters are. When you are pissed off, it can be used in many ways, just like earth, in many ways and in many forms. Just find out your perfect avenue. Find out what fits, what goes with. Next comes with air. Hello. Unlike earth and water, air is an active element, and it is connected with the movement as well as the intellect. While earth is solid and stable, air is always active and always moving. They tend to cancel each other out, which is true. I do that. I'm a Gemini. I do myself. I cancel myself completely. When you fill yourself with air, feel the constant motion. Traditionally, air is hot and moist, and you can incorporate that into your imagery as well. You could think of it as a giant breath. A good image is to see yourself as part of the sky surrounded by clouds. If you're feeling clumsy, uncoordinated, air can be used. Air can be used also. Think of using other uses for the element, for this element. This is an element that is used for painful gas. Since the pain is caused by a buildup of gas, use air to move it along. So let's just say that you have to fart. Please don't shart. Shart is very bad. And let's just say if you have to fart, and you have that, or burp. Burp is very good, and this is a very good element to use for when you're with your newborn baby, to help ease the burping from a baby. Think of air quality. Think of air going into the lungs and grabbing whatever stale, musky looking gas, dirty air, and pushing it out. And it helps with the baby. It actually does help, and I hope my best friend, who is about to give birth on April 1st, I hope she uses this, if she remembers. Use this chant. The gas has moved out of my body. You may notice that when you use this chant, our past tense has moved. This is because you're creating a condition. If you place this condition as already existing in the element you are working with, then the condition will be created in you. It is standard magical principle. This is the way how you create your desires and element. That is right there explains basic spellcraft when you want to remove things away from you. Very good to use to remove things from your life. Very good to use past tense, like it's already gone, it's be gone, I don't need it in my life. Because air is a very creative, in general, is a very creativity. It can create problems, it can create things, it can build things up, and also it can move it in an instant moment. So when you want to use air as your magic and you want to remove the problems out of your life, just say, let's just say for instance, if you have a problem with communication at work, let's just say, hey, I'm going to cast in some air elements. I'm going to call for it. You know, air by the airs and by the winds and the gusts. I call unto you, it's a must. To remove miscommunication, and issues. So you're asking it to do. The best way to do it is a must. There is no problems here. No more communication can be here. This is gone, or communication has left. Thank you. It's kind of like you are already setting your mind in your head into this thing of, it's already gone. I don't need it no more. It's gone. It's gone. So, very good. Air is very good. I work with it. I am an air child. I'm very air if you think about it. I use it. I'm never inactive. I'm always active. I'm always moving, always doing something. There's never really a chance that I actually sleep in, or there's never really any chance that I can actually sit still unless I'm doing videos. The last element is fire. Fire is, of course, active. It is a full energy and active, and its qualities are hot and dry. This element is the opposite of water for obvious reasons. Fire is an ideal element to use to fight laziness and tiredness. Fire is, this doesn't mean you can stay up 40 hours using nothing but fire to keep yourself going. But it is a great supplement for healthy living and for those times that you just need to feel less energetic than usual. So this is a good element to spark, is the very first thing that comes to my mind. Lightning, to zap yourself up. When you're feeling very low or low on energy, very good, because it's very good to nuke yourself. A good time to use fire is when you exercise to excess and feel absolutely drained. This isn't healthy, and it can open one of the ailments such as colds. Fire can give you a lift and help you fight off diseases. It's very good to snap it out of you. It's awesome to when you go to work out and you come back and you're tired and you really don't want to do nothing but sit on the couch, or even if you don't sit on the couch and you're very tired and you need that little bit of energy to kind of complete the day, fire is a good element. Use it wisely, because it can backfire. A lot of things in here, and this little tutorial I just showed to you, can backfire and worsen the problem. Remember, you got to kind of balance the elements. You can't use too much of the same element, because our bodies incorporate all elements plus the fifth element, which is spirit, or akasha, or whatever people like to call it, the one, or supreme being, whatever you want to call it. You gotta watch out how you imbalance these, because if you use too much water, you're gonna dilute yourself, and you're gonna be consumed, and then you need to use another element to kind of even it out, and you're gonna be constantly teeter-tottering these elements, and you're gonna end up over element out. And it is possible, I done it when I was 17, it is possible to be over element out, to be like, oh god, I'm so consumed. The following techniques from Donald Craig's book, The Modern Magick, which I don't practice anything in that book. I don't really use anything in that book, really, but I do take samples of that book and try to incorporate into my beings. But for this is a very good elemental exercise that I like to use, personally. And if you don't like it, I'm terribly sorry. Close this channel. Don't even watch it. If you don't like this, don't. Blah. Anyways, if you're feeling giddy, like an airhead, and want to come back to Earth, you may need to increase your store of this element. To do this, hold your hands about 18 inches or so apart. So kind of like whatever comfortability, 18 inches. And picture yourself holding a container, to the house of the element. It doesn't matter what kind you use. Picture earth flowing through. Picture earth flowing from all around you, not from you, into the container. Then breathe the element from the container into yourself. You should feel more grounded after a few minutes. Alternatively, you may conclude that you have used too much air in you. Just to do this reserves all about the instructions. Picture an empty container in your hands, not actual physical container. This. An image that picture the empty container in your hands and imagine the excess element inside you. Breathe out the extra air, seeing it leaving and going into the container. Next, picture a black hole opening in front of you and place the container in the hole, feeling it being sucked in. Then close the hole. In a few minutes, you should feel less spaced. Use a black hole method for all elements except Earth. Here you would picture a hole in the Earth opening up and see yourself drop into the Earth laden container and into the ground and see it closes over it. These techniques may seem simple, but quite effective. Remember, simple is easy, simple is great, simple straight to the point, simple is good at some points. And instead of a labyrinth ritual or very too much. While you're experiencing, you could take a look at the para-elements. Para-elements are combined from the regular 4 elements. Here's a list of possibilities. Lightning, rain, mud, dust, and lava. Although these are not part of the traditional elements, it seems that the elements can combine to make a new, unique element that is effective as many single element. It is for you to find out for yourself. The possibilities are endless. Find out what works for you. Find out once you actually top the 4 elements, once you got a hold of them, and you would know. I'm not saying if you get a hold of water you can make rain pop up. I'm not saying when you see fire you can make it go big like the movies. No. Once you personally feel that you have least connected with the element, go on mixing the elements. This is what he was trying to say. Go on mixing it, smash it together, use some other energies. Lightning, which is combined by air and fire, will be hot and somewhat moist. It is active and energetic, hence the name. This could perhaps be used for creativity, as lightning is a flash of insight. Rain is air and water mix, and it would be wet and tepid, moving and soothing. It'd be useful for long-term emotional blocks. It can melt a lot of things away. Earth and water makes mud. The qualities of this para-element are cold, damp, and passive. Dust, combined with air and earth, which is warm and somewhat moist. It mixes solidarity and with movement and intellect. The combination of fire and earth makes lava. From this formality energy, this is a formality energy. Its qualities would be very dry and somewhat warm. I wonder why dry and somewhat warm. Lava, ouch. It might be used for gaining new ideals. A very good thing about this is that lava, it being a very destructive volcano, has to explode, and being very destructive and destroys, it's kind of a transformation renewal energy if you think about it. Not only energy, element actually. And also it makes lands, it makes new pathway, new things, and it changes a lot. So lavas are very good for, like it said, gaining new ideas and creativity kind of thing. If you need help with 2 elements using the part elements, if you need energy, if you need the energy of fire, yet the stability of earth, you could utilize lava. You can combine elements, which is really good. With practice and pioneering spirit, you can use 4 elements to help you in your life, as I have, which not me, it's David. Or Donald, sorry. Experience with each element for difficult purposes, or for different problems, and see what happens. For this, all me reading and getting tired to repeat myself, it's very good. Elemental Magic is very good. It's very, very, very easy to it's very easy to connect because we already have those elements within us. the hard part for me in general is para elements, really, at some points. Too much of the same element, or too much of the two elements combining can make it confusing for me, so I kind of stick with the 4 basics, keep it basics. So I hope this helps. I hope this actually paves some road to elemental magic, which I do not see a lot on YouTube, really, amongst the Wiccan community, amongst the magical pagan umbrella community. Actually, I don't see a lot of elemental magics. I don't see the people a lot of talking about it. So I hope this helps in general. Anyways, thank you for listening to my obnoxious voice. Blessed be.